Your thoughts, man. What'd you think?
Honestly,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna get a lot of pushback. We'll say it that way. I'm gonna get a lot of pushback here. He doesn't. You can tell he doesn't trust Nico yet.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that.
I'm just by pure like game plan alone. There's nothing wrong with that. He's young.
Yep.
He's trying to take it out of his hands and put it in Sampson's hands. That's been there. Put it in the O-line's hands. It's been there. So as good as Nico, as good as we think he can be, we are not going to know 100% for sure until he opens up the playbook. We don't know when he's going to do that, right?
Yep.
None of us do. The only person who's going to know that is Josh Heupel. But he has not opened up the playbook. It is evident he threw, I'm going to count off the top of my head, one out route in the third quarter. He threw two go balls in the second half. One was a phenomenal go route to Brew.
Yes.
He threw two bang eights in the first half. That's really about it. I know he threw 21 times, but I'm saying, but like actual like throws, because you got to understand, when we throw a screen or a jet sweep, that's considered a pass. So he doesn't trust him yet. There's nothing wrong with that. A win is a win is a win. And that is a top 15 win at that on the road in the SEC. So I'm not taking anything away from tonight. I'm just saying we're going to be hindered a little more against a really good defense than I thought we would early on, in the sense of until our O-line gets healthy, we're going to struggle to run the football, which now hinders our pass game.
Yep. There are layers to it for sure. I think you're exactly right about Nico, because specifically in that second half, my hunch was just that Heupel was basically saying our defense is ridiculous. Oklahoma can't throw a forward pass. And so from those two things, I'm going to do everything in an effort to not turn this football over, to not shoot myself in the foot, to not give them nothing at all. And hey, it worked. You won by 10. You won and you covered. So, good teams win, great teams cover. But what was that?
What it reminded me of? Today's version of football, I'll say it that way, of the early 2010s Nick Saban of Alabama, before Kiffin got there and kind of opened everything up. It was I'm not going to let my quarterback lose the game, and we're going to run the ball, and my defense is going to win it for me. That's what that reminded me of. Just in today's version of football. You know what I'm saying? Shotgun, spread out, all that stuff. Because back then he was two tight ends, fullback, under center, power eye. But that's what it reminded me of. And there's a question that says, why would I not trust him? I mean, he's young. Look at Jackson Arnold. You don't want that to happen, because I can tell you this: Jackson Arnold has probably played his last game at Oklahoma.
And that's pretty crazy that Tennessee brought that kid's demise around like that. Because first of all, the kid that they brought in, was he great? No, he was not. But he went out there and he played like a dog. I mean, he put his head down and tried to win it for those boys.
He played one half, and statistically, he was on par with Nico.
Yeah. Now, speaking, on par with Nico, while actually throwing the ball, and they didn't let Nico throw the ball, but still.
I know. Hear me out. Ready? 13 to 21, 194 for touchdown for Nico. 8 rushes, 16 yards for Nico. 11 of 18, 132 and a touchdown. 12 rushes, 22 yards. Very on par.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not taking anything away from Nico. I'm just saying that kid played his guts out. He did. And he has earned the right to be like, oh, hey, whoever Oklahoma's got next, you're the guy.
So here's my primary concern with what happened. That worked against Oklahoma because, again, offensive line's garbage, young quarterback in the starter and in the backup. That ain't gonna work against Alabama. It's definitely not gonna work against Georgia. You could get ahead of both of those teams potentially. Georgia will be tough. They still have an incredible defense, but I think you could get ahead. I think it could go sort of similarly to this. in a first half of
Alabama's
one of those
defense
games.
is not Alabama's defense is not Oklahoma's defense.
No, it's
Schematically.
not. So I think
Georgia is on par schematically with a
yes.
Venables style defense, but Alabama, because Saban's gone, is not on par with a Venable style defense. That's just now players are obviously are different. Every game is different. Georgia went out there and spanked the out of Clemson, and then struggled against Kentucky and had to kick field goals. So you still got the old cliche, you still got to play the game, but schematically, Oklahoma defensively is damn good. And they've got some dudes on defense. So I'm not taking anything away from us, because getting a double digit win on the road in the SEC for your quarterback's first true road game, because the bowl game doesn't count in my opinion as far as a true road game. That's impressive. It's just he hasn't opened up the playbook yet. There's nothing wrong with that. We're only 4 games in, technically 5 games into his little tenure. That's not the worst case scenario. If we're getting a 10-point win and the playbook's not open, then our defense is playing really well. And that's what we got. That's what we want. That's what we ask for. But, from a fan's perspective, we want to see the 60-point games. Statistically speaking, that's not going to happen all the time. But we want those games. We want the flashy long runs and deep balls and all this stuff. That's not always football. So we still came out with a win. We still did what we were supposed to do to win. It was just a very lackluster Josh Heupel, Tennessee, what we're used to performance. But the bottom line is a win's a win in the SEC. We're 1-0 in conference now.
Well, let's say how huge was that drive right before the end of the half. That was the game. That was the entire ball game right there. Statistically speaking, you still would have won the game if you didn't score, but it would have been by 2 points instead, by 3 points instead of 10. And they ground it out on the ground, and for that drive, they were able to enforce their will, and just in that second half, they curled up in a ball and decided to go super conservative. But just against teams that can actually throw a forward pass, this ain't gonna work like that. And as you're saying, Nico, young, the trust will grow, things will come along just in terms of Heupel's philosophy, this was kind of shocking, because he's been a guy who's been that risk taker to just sort of say, hey, we got to score more. Let's put this pedal to the metal. And maybe he's changing that because frankly, he doesn't have to score more with this team. The defense is so good.
He still wants to.
I'm sure.
Because there's a lot that goes into it behind closed doors when it comes to game planning and how you call a game and how you envision the game and where you go with certain, down and distance situations or, before the half or this or this. Remember, once again, this is not a slight. We're a running football team, right? In general. But the reality is the trust isn't there. Before the half, we ran the ball on an 8-play drive. We ran the ball 8 plays. That speaks for itself. I'm just telling you from the harsh reality, from behind the scenes of what the talks that happen. Nico is a phenomenal talent, but he's young. He's only played 5 games. And 4 of those, I don't care what anybody says about Iowa. They were ranked, blah, blah, blah. Once you kick the field goal, you beat Iowa. You know what I'm saying? Because their offense sucks.
Yeah.
Then it's Chattanooga, a horrible NC State, and then Kent State, who in the past 2 games has been beat 120-0. He's easing him into it. So that's why it wasn't we're used to the Josh Heupel stuff, because when Hendon Hooker came here, Hendon still had 2.5 years of playing experience when he showed up in Knoxville. He had the game experience. Nico doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Is the game plan is not nearly where it's going to be. It'll get there. But a win in the SEC, the bottom line is that's all you want. It doesn't matter if, like Casey Clausen said back in 2003, down playing at Miami, I'll throw for 87 yards all day if we win.
It doesn't matter.
Ultimate goal is to get a win.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. He's going to get there. It's just not going to happen today.
I think you're perfectly set up right now to be undefeated going into that Alabama game, and that's great. I think
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, Arkansas is more inferior to you than Oklahoma was. Their offense is better. They got a better quarterback for sure. Green, Taylor Green, I think. Football is back, and what better way to bet on the big games than on Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in Tennessee that's bringing sports betting to a whole new level. When you sign up for Zen Sports, you'll automatically earn up to a $100 no danger first wager. If your first bet loses, you'll be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to $100. And for the football season, Zen Sports is launching a revamped betting platform for both college football and the NFL. And what's better? With our new look, Zen Sports will be offering daily promotions, including odds boosts, same-game parlays, no-danger wagers, and much more. Zen Sports also offers a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program, and if you qualify, you can earn monthly comps at sporting events, concerts, and even sportsbook bonuses. It's by invite only, so go to zensports.com/VIP for details. What are you waiting for, football fans? Start betting with Zen Sports, where you will receive true odds on all parlays and an enhanced user experience. Get going. Download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports betting just got better. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. No danger. First wager limited to plus 500 odds to qualify. Boosted odds are derived from equivalent parlay bets offered in Tennessee. Must be 21 or older in Tennessee to bet. Zen Sports. They got a better quarterback, but and maybe here's your case in point. Maybe in that one, it's at Arkansas. Maybe you have to score in that one, and Nico gets pressed.
What gives us? I think I'm not a big Herb Street guy, but I think they said it well. So far, what has given our defense fits? Running quarterbacks well. That's what Arkansas has.
Yep.
So we have to almost have Pierce or somebody be a spy, something. But I do want to address this real quick. Michael said, I think Josh couldn't bring himself to crush. Oh, you got to get over that. That ain't how that works.
I don't think
don't
that's
work
why.
that way. Once you get in between the white lines, man, it's my paycheck on the line too. It don't matter who you're playing. That before the game, they gave him a nice little ceremony. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. But bottom line is now it's my resume on the line, my team on the line. That it don't work that way.
I mean, he called the same plays in that second half that he called in the second half of the Kent State game. Like it was hand the ball off to Deshaun Bishop, and against Kent State, it went for 60 yards and they scored a touchdown. And against Oklahoma, they averaged 4 yards a carry. That's the difference.
You're proving my point in case here. The game plan's not open.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not, and like I said, and that is okay at the moment. Now, once we get 3-4 more games from now, to me, that is not okay. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's still this and 3 or 4 more games and we're going into Mississippi State or Kentucky, why in the hell is it not open? Like I will be saying that or at that point, if we're going into this conversation, I'll be upset by going, what are we doing? But at this point, it's okay because this was his first test. Like it was. So he didn't want to put him in a bad situation. He didn't want to do what the Panthers have done to Bryce Young. Don't want to do what Oklahoma had to do to Jackson Arnold tonight and go, oh, by the way, I just ruined a quarterback that I've got a lot of faith in. That you don't want to do that. So I think, are we sitting here going kind of bickering just to bicker about a win because that's what we want a huge win? I am. But I also think the game plan was genius in the fact of he's gonna take care of his quarterback. He's gonna take care of that. He's gonna say our O-line, our run game, our receivers when we ask them to, and our defense is gonna make sure you don't have to win it yet. But we will ask you to in the next couple weeks.
Yes, I honestly here is the real spin zone of all this. I don't even want to say spin zone. You freaking walked into Norman, Oklahoma, and you beat these boys' ass.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be completely honest. You won and you covered. Congratulations all around. Everybody deserves it because it was a big accomplishment. But just an additional silver lining. This is the perfect setup for Nico. First of all, you got a bye week coming up, so hopefully you can get Lance Hurd healthy. Thankfully, John Campbell came back into the game. You can get your offensive line back right. You can continue to get better there. But this defense is so good and monstrous that it's really the perfect setup for a dude like Nico who needs to grow because he can go out, play imperfectly, and have a defense that's not just gonna give up 40 points in a game. And that's what an incredible setup that is. That's such a great chance for a development for a dude who's going to be elite in time, and has already shown.
Well,
I mean, that throw for the touchdown in the first half, that's an elite throw. That's best quarterback.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was. Well, I wouldn't say an elite throw. That's a throw you expect your quarterback. That's a throw you expect your quarterback to make the safety jump down. You're throwing a bang 8 behind it.
A lot of college guys can't, though. A lot of college guys can't.
I would agree with that. There's a really good handful that probably couldn't. But there are the one that I would say was more elite was the one that we got a holding call, blah blah blah, on the scramble 50-yard extending the play. That would be, to me, that's more of the quote unquote elite than throwing a bang 8 post. But it was a phenomenal throw, on the money, touchdown. We're never going to sit here and say that it's not a hell of a play.
Yeah.
But where was I? I had a comment I was going to talk about and I lost it. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
It'll randomly come back.
Well, regardless, there is just a lot to talk about. And I mean, let's cover this. The defense should get all the credit in the world. They came in, not only did they show that they are exactly what we thought they were going to be, I think it was even more. They did finally give up a touchdown. They still haven't given up an extra point, though. Still haven't given up an extra point.
Gave up a touchdown. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sadly, they gave up. Well, I guess they gave up 2 touchdowns, but still on both didn't give up an extra point. That streak still.
We only gave up 36 rushing yards tonight.
Yeah. I when you look at what this defense did in this game, it wasn't just just ravaging these young quarterbacks that still sort of stink. They completely shut down that run game. Because Oklahoma, I mean, the running backs aren't very good. Let's be, honest up front. And here's what I'm expecting this week because of the way that this went. There was all this talk, Tennessee beat NC State, but NC State's not really that good. Tennessee hasn't actually played anybody.
I told y'all before the game, NC State sucks.
Oh, they stink out loud.
And that is my personal vendetta aside. NC State's just not very good this year.
Oh, they're bad. But
that's what it is.
There is also in this game plenty of talking points that if you hate Tennessee, if you're whoever take your pick, Pat 40 or whoever, you can be like, well, Oklahoma, it's a young quarterback and the running back's not very good. Of course, the defensive line looked great for Tennessee. Tennessee still hasn't played a great top level team. I guarantee you, there's going to be some idiot that's going to be saying stuff like that after this. Make no mistake, this defense is elite. This defense is elite, full blown.
Here's the thing: there's always going to be, I'll just say, haters or homers of other teams or whatever you want to say. They're going to say those things. But our defense played well. I mean, we gave up 36 rushing yards to an SEC team. We gave up, 186 passing yards to an SEC team. Now, granted, they only gave up 194 passing yards, but we didn't do a whole lot in the pass game.
No, barely threw the ball.
And when we threw it 21 times, but if you notice, I would be curious of the 21, how many were more than 4 yards downfield?
Yeah.
Honestly. I would be curious for that. But what I remember what I was going to say now because of his comment was talking about a touchdown pass. And this is the reason why I say that Heupel, he's not there yet with Nico as far as the system. And once again, this is okay. So I was at the game last week. The touchdown, the go ball down the sideline, okay? I don't know if you could see it on TV or whatnot, but when he threw the ball, the defensive back, the corner was still a 10-yard cushion away. But you can't throw that in SEC. You can throw that against Kent State.
Yeah.
Phenomenal ball, phenomenal placement. But you could tell that was called to see if he could be accurate. And that was the game to be like, hey, man, let's take a chance. You're throwing this go ball here. Catch, drop, hold the safety, lay it up. When he threw it, because it was actually in the end zone that I was in, and I had a perfect vantage point. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That DB, oh, never mind, that DB sucks. Okay, that makes more sense now. As it was happening, he tried to throw that tonight, and now did you and the go ball on their sideline in the third quarter, it landed 2 yards out of bounds because it's tighter coverage, and it was like 8 yards overthrown and 2 yards out of bounds. I'm saying that to say that is not a slight on Nico. It's because he's young in college football, young within the system, so to speak, even though he was here in January and all that stuff. But it's the fact of game experience trumps everything when it comes to quarterback development. That's the thing. So that's what I'm trying to get is he's going to get there. You can see it. You can see he's going to develop into that. You can see the trust is going to get there. You can see the system is going to evolve. Heupel's just not going to put it all on him yet, and I think that is phenomenal coaching. I do.
Hey, and there you go. If anybody is feeling weird after this game, and that's the word that I've seen everybody use, including myself, for this one, there's the truth. That Heupel is doing what is best for the dude that he has leading this team, and
I believe he is. I do.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. And yeah, you didn't win by 40, but you did. You took it to them on their.
You did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
you got a top 15. You got a top 15 matchup on the road. First SEC road environment for your quarterback. For a couple of your offensive linemen that have not really played. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is. And whoever this SEC football said, Hendon Hooker, first in the system, put up video game numbers. Yeah. Hendon also had 3 years of college football experience at that time. He had played, 16 games at Virginia Tech already. There's a big difference. There's a big difference in playing high school ball in California than the SEC.